Tonight, the Omaha South Packers entertain the Omaha Benson Bunnies. Hi, and welcome to Berquist Stadium, everybody. Torrey Pantelli along with Rich Roberts. Rich, we've got a couple of teams that are struggling. One hasn't won a game. One's got 2 wins, but they're both winless in District A3, Benson and South. And, boy, something's got to give tonight.
Well, you think so, Torrey. You know, it's a district matchup, and that always makes it all that much more important for both teams.
Well, we're underway here at Berquist. And the Packers will get the ball first. Cliff Moss on a good return, still on his feet, driving outside the 20, close to the 24-yard line, and that's where the Packers in their familiar red and white will be going up against the Benson Bunnies, green and white with the green helmets and the bunny paw print on the helmet with the green numbers. And Lonnie Tapp, of course, both good coaches, Rich. We know both these guys, Lonnie Tapp and Jay Ball over at South. And if anything, their teams are competitive. They might not be piling up the wins, but these kids do give a good effort.
Yeah, they'll come out tonight, I'm sure, Torrey, and give a fine effort, play awfully hard. That's just that's the nature of how they do things.
T.J. Douglas is the quarterback for the Packers. Both teams, they'll run out of different offensive sets, but they like to run the option, and they highlight the veer. So we'll probably see that. But both running backs, Cliff Moss and Tyrell Carter, those two guys are probably the guys you want to watch. Lonnie Tapp said that Cliff Moss bothers him a lot because of his ability to find the seam. And on the other side, when the Bunnies have the ball, Tyrell Carter, Jay Ball, the South coach, says the kid doesn't know how to stop. He only knows how to go forward. Second down. And again, they give it straight up ahead, and Packers very happy to keep the ball on the ground. And the Bunnies, of course, having to have this out of the chute, first out of the chute on defense. That tackle made by Kadero Wools. But there you see Cliff Moss, 24. And not a lot of size, but the kid is a good running back in high school as we see the play being brought in by the Packers' Tyler Bathen.
They're down and short here, Torrey.
They split the backs. They even have a wing to this side, but they keep it on the ground. And let's see, it's going to be close. Moss again on the carry. You know, one thing that Jay Ball was concerned about, Rich, is that he said that nobody on the team runs anything faster than 5 flat. So, you know, he's being realistic, but
right.
we'll see how that comes into play tonight.
No, well, I'll tell you whatever he ran fast enough there, obviously, worked hard enough there to get the first down, working in between the tackles there the first 3 times they've carried the football.
Douglas at the controls. And again, they keep it on the ground, this time off the left side. Good blocking up front for the Packers. You see John Brown pushing some blocks out there.
South High, as Torrey said, comes into the game tonight with a couple of wins. 2 up, 4 down, 0-2 in A3 district play. The Packers open with a loss at Bryan. Defeated Bellevue East 16-12, a team we saw last week. Lost at Papillion La Vista, defeated Northwest, lost at Prep, and Millard West last weekend.
Second down play. Nice. Head up running. Douglas calls his own number off that option. I like the way he peels around. When he calls his number, he'll peel around the running back and just try to find the hole, and he gets enough.
And a nice-looking tackle there, too, Torrey, by Marcus Sullivan coming up from his spot in the secondary to wrap up Douglas and pull him down. Here it is again, as Torrey said, does a nice job after the fake, turns it upfield, and follows his blockers and gets the big yards and the first down.
Yeah, Marcus Sullivan had to wrap him up from behind. Flanker this side now goes in motion, the far side. That's Matt Parrott. Counter play to Moss. Moss off the left side's got enough for the first down, still driving. And the Packers continue to move the ball on the ground. Something you mentioned before we came on the air, Rich, the wind at Berquist Stadium tonight. You said that could have an effect and probably won't see too many balls in the air.
Especially going this way right now tonight, Troy. They're driving right into that wind that's blowing out of the north. And why throw now? They're having a lot of success running the ball.
Yeah, that offensive line is firing well, and the option is working really well for Jay Ball's crew. Nice fake. Now the pitch comes this way to Locke, and or check that. That is Kyle Lohr, number 41, not number 40. And that play snuffed out very well by the Bunnies. Leading the tackle for them was Andrew Williams, big Andrew Williams. So for the moment, they stave the Packer onslaught.
Nice tackle.
Yeah, Estwick, Teron Estwick also involved in that. So they line it up, send a man in motion far side. Moss. A lot of running room. Keeps his legs going, slips out of a tackle, and he's down inside the 20-yard line. Or 30-yard line, check that. Moss doing an excellent job doing most of the work on this possession, this opening possession here at Berquist, where there's no score between the Packers and the Bunnies. And something has to give because we have a tiebreaker in Nebraska, so we can't have a tie game. Somebody's going to win this game tonight.
That's the 6th time he's carried the ball. It's been just about all Moss. This shows some impressive running there, strong running, breaks a tackle, and able to get outside and pick up the big yards.
Well, they run a slot now to this side. Counter action play back to Moss. He gets inside the 25-yard line, maybe to the 24, where it'll bring up a second down. As we get a good look at the South.
The bull.
Yeah, the bull, the mascot.
What's his name?
Oh, does that say Benny on the back?
Benny the Bull, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, could be.
It definitely doesn't say Bunny. You wouldn't want him to have
No,
that
no.
on the back. Besides, who'd ever heard of a bull called Bunny?
Yeah.
Quick opener again. You know, they're really mixing their plays up well, Rich. They've, I mean, when you're on defense and you know the team runs the option, you have to be honest as Laura got the carry, but they just seem to be mixing their plays up well to the point where they're getting positive yardage.
Front offensive line doing a great job coming off the ball, blowing people out of the way. Look at a tough running inside by Laura. It takes 3 guys to bring him down.
Yeah, and Teron Estwick, one of those 3 bunnies on the tackle. Bathen will split wide to the left. They have a wing on this side. They use the tight end as the wing as Cliff Moss gets the handoff again, and he runs up and over Andrew Williams, who was able to slow him down enough to help make the tackle. But the Packers continue to move the ball. Another first down.
Inside the 15-yard line here.
So they take this opening kickoff, and they're forcing the Bunnies' defense to dig in their heels. Wideouts left and right, split the backs. On the ground, Moss around the left side. Can he get to the corner? No. Nice defense. I see Teron Estwick out there. We've called his number a lot, making a lot of tackles. Also in there for the Bunnies was number 11. That's also an Estwick. Sean Estwick, I believe. Good look at the south sideline. So now the Packers, after moving the ball so well from the opening kickoff, we get a look at this play here.
Moss pulled down from behind.
Yeah, they're going to try to move forward. There's a double fake on the rollout. He's looking to throw toward the end zone, and it's knocked down. First pass of the night, and it goes for naught. Well, it was a close play for the Bunnies.
11 consecutive running plays by the Packers on this drive, and then they go to the air with Douglas. Douglas thrown into double coverage off the play fake and the rollout. The play action certainly would work in this case. Play action designed to hold those linebackers, and South has had a great opportunity, or South has done a great job running the football, but Douglas incomplete.
Another pass. Picked off. The Bunnies take it. And that's Matt Russell, the starting quarterback for the Bunnies, and that's something we'll see tonight. Both quarterbacks start on defense as well in the secondary. And that's something that Jay Ball had mentioned, Rich, and he felt that maybe the fact that Douglas has had to play defense might have taken away something for his performance at quarterback.
Well, Douglas just throws the ball right to Russell. Russell gets the INT, does a nice job of getting some yards after the pick. And it tells you one thing, Tori. The guys are both Douglas and Russell are pretty good athletes and playing both sides of the football.
And I guess it never hurts to have a kid that can handle the quarterback position on the defense, because then you've got a leader on both sides of the ball. But, of course, who makes the tackle on the intercept? South's quarterback, T.J. Douglas. All right, here's the Bunnies' first attempt. Pitch far side. This is Teron Estwick. He's in the backfield with Tyrell Carter. Carter's number 2, and Estwick doing a good job on that run, and he should have enough for the first down. So both teams coming out fired up on their offensive possessions, first offensive possessions of the game.
Right off the pitch, running on the right side. little stutter step there. Then he breaks the tackle, and he does get the first down. Ball over the 32-yard line at about the 33, so give him about 12 on that carry.
Bathen on the tackle. Again, the Bunnies keep it on the ground. And there's a bunch of red jerseys to pile up that play. Tyrell Carter on the carry. One of the first guys to get to him from his linebacker position was Brian Locke.
Locke there, also Matt Parrott helping out. Lonnie Tapp, the head coach at Benson, has been around for a while. Of course, he had a great team in the early 90s with Tony Veland, the former Husker defensive back, who went on to NFL status as well.
Pitch this way, slips and falls on the field before Carter could even get going. You were down on the field earlier, Rich. What was the condition like for you?
It was fine. I had no, obviously just walking across the field, but when I walked, I took a look at it. It looked fine, and I would be surprised. I was a little surprised to see him slip here, but it happens every once in a while, obviously. Just slipped, lost his footing there, but I thought the field was, despite all the action it gets throughout the course of a season, in pretty good shape.
Yeah, tell the equipment manager to get the longer cleats.
There you go, that's right.
Second down. Off the option, they go straight ahead. Estwick. And he's stopped right at the line of scrimmage, almost as he got the handoff, as Russell tried to carry out the fake for the option down the far side.
Here it is again. Off the handoff. Big tackle. Big hit there by number 72, John Rawson.
Now, we've had trouble. Lonnie Tapp said he was worried about their snaps. And there it is. It's over the kicker's head. He's having trouble picking it up. It's still loose. Big scramble. You see it there. And the Packers get it. Holy cow. I believe that was Jack Kudlatz who got the fumble or the loose ball. What a break for the Packers here.
Ball snapped over the head of the punter, Michael Knudsen. He tries to pick it up, but Kudlock right there to put him on his keister, and then he picks up the loose ball. First down for the Packers inside the 5.
And this is a situation Lonnie Tapp said hurts his defense because he knows his defense is young, but he feels they're a good defense, but they're constantly put in bad situations like this, having to defend in the red zone. So T.J. Douglas brings his crew back out on the field. They give it straight ahead to Cliff Moss. So they're deep inside the 5.
Well, you hate to give them a short field. And this is when you're Lonnie Tapp, obviously, with the Bunnies. You hate to surrender something like that to a short field, and they only have a few yards in which to work to get into the end zone. So it's a tough assignment for the Benson defense.
But even though they threw that interception, I think it served notice to the Benson defense that not only can these guys run, they'll also pass. So now you have to play so honest. Bring a man of motion this side. Douglas keeping his own number. Hesitates and he's in. Oh, what a move by T.J. Douglas to put the Packers on the board after they get the ball on a turnover. And it's 6-0 Omaha South.
Packers being opportunistic, Tori. They take advantage of the bad snap on the punt on 4th down. And then Douglas, 2 plays later, turns it upfield. Little hesitation. Looks, picks his hole, and slides upfield for the touchdown.
You know, I mean, that's incredible. You know, we've talked about this all season long because we see a lot of option offenses. But that decision he made right there, he knew he was going to get hit, but he just decided, well, I'm going to hesitate. I'll go in. Here's the point after attempt. The kick is up. It's good. So the Packers get on the board first here in the first period, and they lead at 7-0 as the opportunistic special teams play gets the ball for them deep into Benson territory after the bad snap on the punt. And then T.J. Douglas is able to punch it in 2 plays later, and they get the point after, and it's 7-0.
Douglas, the quarterback, the 5'11 at 165, is only a junior, so J-Ball has T.J. coming back for next season, so he has to be happy about that as the Packers take the early lead here at Berquist Stadium, 7-0, looking to go 3-4 on the season. And Tori, if they can look ahead a little bit, I know Jay's thinking about this game right now here tonight, but they look ahead, they're thinking, hey, if we can get this one tonight, next Friday we have Papillion La Vista South and an opportunity to pull even at 500 on the season.
Yeah, and again, being in the district, those are big games.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know in this state how big it is if you win in the district, the way the point system is, you can get into the playoffs. Speaking of the playoffs, Jay Ball made mention that Benson, when we were talking about that, he said Benson is the only OPS team to get to the finals in the 90s.
Wow.
It was a return by Jordan Tolston for Benson, and he's wrapped up right away.
Boy, you know, that's really saying something, Torrey, too, when you think about all the great players that they've had at places like Central High School.
Oh, sure.
During that time.
Sure.
I mean, Central's a machine sending out Division I recruit after one after another, and to think about the fact that Benson was the only OPS school to get to the finals, that's really saying something for Lonnie and his staff.
Of course, the Bunnies had their opponent was Dan McLaughlin and the Norfolk Panthers
That's right.
year, and nobody was going to beat them.
Nope.
Plus, they got to play it at their, in front of a wild crowd of Norfolk fans, and then we know Dan came this way to coach at Millard West. Okay, so the Bunnies with their second possession of the game. Matt Russell sends his man in motion. That's D'Angelo Allen, but he's going to give it to Carter off the right side. Forget it. Packers knew exactly where the ball was on that play. And leading the charge for South was Jason Rohde. But, the Packers aren't without their recent success. They were in the playoffs as recent as 2002.
Big tackle there by number 28, Philip Ariantos, coming up from his linebacker spot. 5'9", 195, a junior. Big one-on-one tackle, wrapped him up and pulled him down.
So Russell now, second snap of this possession. Off the option this way, late pitch, and Estwick is buried. Bathen, the first guy to get to him. Packers able to string that out. And that's the thing about option. I mean, it's easy to say, even from a coaching standpoint, but easier for us in the booth. If you stay with your assignment, everybody goes, the key is the pitch, man, yada, yada, yada. But when that ball is snapped, there's a lot going on, and the speed picks up. So
yeah, and you're right, Torrey, and it's natural if your assignment is the running back and the quarterback has the ball and he's coming right at you, and you're thinking I should go get the quarterback,
That's
but
right.
Your assignment, you got to stick with your assignment. They did a great job there. 3 players out there to help on the tackle.
Roll out, pass, Russell throws, it's incomplete. Intended receiver for the Bunnies was Marcus Sullivan. He's just a sophomore. As Lonnie Tapp says, he's got a lot of young kids, and of course he feels he has the edge in speed, but right now the Packers have the edge on the scoreboard, and we've got flags on the field. We have to see exactly what this penalty is all about.
Terry, you're right about Lonnie's team. I'm looking at their roster. They have six seniors on the squad. The rest are sophomores and juniors. Here's Russell on the rollout. Gets hammered after that. That's the flag's going to be I believe, roughing the passer. Yes, it is. It's a first down. Drive stays alive.
Yeah, I know on the replay we might not have seen it, but I'm thinking that had to be a blow to the head because there's no way that they could get him for a late hit because that was pretty well timed. So the Bunnies have to go at it again. And they need to get enough yardage to keep this drive alive, although after the penalty, they've been able to get the first down. Estwick now goes forward. He's gotten a lot of reps in this short amount of time they've had the ball. Estwick, of course, in that backfield with Tyler Carter. But the Bunnies really haven't been able to exploit their team's speed at this point tonight.
Yeah, South High doing a fine job wrapping up people now and keeping them from getting outside too, Torrey.
Russell now, he's got a slot to the right, splits the backs. And again on a lead play this side, Estwick through the left side. So both teams have shown the ability to move the ball forward on the ground. They've had trouble when they go to the air.
Once again, a look at the pickup here by Estwick off the handoff. Gets right past Barrientos into the secondary and picks up the first down.
Nice block by Carter, too, by the way. And a little bit of a kick-out block. Bunnies facing that 5-man front, all down for the Packers. A little bit of movement on the defensive line, no flags. Oh, Carter with a good job. Bounced off that inside tackle attempt and kept his legs moving. And he goes forward. One thing that Jay Ball did say about Carter, he said the kid proved himself as a running back when he was able to break tackles against Prep. And Jay said, I think Prep has a pretty good defense.
Yeah, that's a nice measuring stick. And if he can do it against Prep, he's got to believe he's going to be able to do it against a lot of other guys as well. Tyler Bathen coming in there to help out with the tackle.
There's Benny once again. Coming down to the end of the first period here. There's a pitch wide. Estwick. Oh, he sidesteps one tackle. Actually, he got by Lohr, a linebacker on that side, and he's close to a first down. But he's slow in getting up.
Nice job by Brandon Estwick coming off off the defensive line position at the defensive end there, number 71, running down Estwick from behind and making the tackle.
And that's going to do it as we see Teron Estwick getting helped off the field. We've come to the end of the first period here at Berquist Stadium. And the Packers have jumped out on front by a score of 7-0 over the Benson Bunnies here in this A3 district matchup.
El Museo Latino proudly presents Ronald Radford, the American master of the flamenco guitar, Saturday, October 23rd, 2004 at 6 p.m. at South High School Auditorium, located at 4519 South 24th Street. For advance tickets and more information, please call 731-1137. Don't miss this great event. El Museo Latino, Ronald Radford, Viva Flamenco.
Back for the second period here at Berquist Stadium. Tori Pantalian along with Rich Roberts. Glad you could be with us here on Cox TV. We bring you high school football every week on Cox Channel 2, 6 p.m. And then it goes into our Entertainment on Demand Channel 998 where you can call it up anytime you want. First play of the second period, we change ends of the field. Carter comes in motion. And they're going to keep it on the ground as Estwick tries to fight his way past the line of scrimmage.
You saw the score, 7-0 South High leads. The only touchdown coming on a 2-yard run by T.J. Douglas, which was set up after Benson snapped the ball over the head of the punter on 4th down and gave the Packers a very short field in which to work.
No, I guess the ball came loose, but the Bunnies were able to recover it. The referees were signaling they had recovered, and I'm not sure if they're going to bring on the chains for this one.
Official time.
Yeah, it's kind of close, so I think we're going to have our first measurement of the game. But the Bunnies came in here looking for a win, and I have to really believe, Rich, that both these teams came in believing they had a chance in this ball game. Not that they don't think they can win every game. You have to have that attitude. But realistically, I think each team believes this is a game they can win.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned about them being young. 4-6 last season. This year, the Bunnies, obviously we've talked about it, they're winless. They've had some tough losses. But this was one, as they looked in their schedule, they said, you know what, we have an opportunity, obviously, to get these guys. And we'll see it, I think, in the effort tonight and that they put forth on the field.
You know, and you were talking about how the Packers have Papillion Vista South next week.
Yeah.
Bennies, the Bunnies, on the other hand,
right,
take on a very good Millard West squad.
Man, they've had a tough schedule, no doubt. That's the first down, by the way.
Estwick in motion, far side. On the ground, Russell called his own number, tried to follow Carter through after the fake, and no go. Big number 78 for the Packers, and Nick Norlinger making the stop. Norlinger, 6 foot 235, although he looks a lot bigger than that.
Playing big there, he did. He looks pretty big, that's right. Also in on that stop, helping out Frank Rosmus, a guard at 5'11", 240, senior.
These people braving the cold and the wind. Without the wind, tonight probably be a very comfortable night to be outside, but that wind coming straight out of the north has got people bundled up. Second down play. Again, send a man in motion. Long count by Russell. Off the option, he'll keep it. Late pitch on the ground. Big scramble here. I don't know if anybody got to it before it went out of bounds. No, they're signaling that it's Benson's ball, but they lost yardage on the pitch because it went behind Carter and rolled out of bounds.
That was John Brown with a big hit, number 55 on Russell, that forced the poor pitch. We'll see it again here as Russell comes down the line. And, hello, yeah, there it is. There's the hit, and the ball goes out of bounds. It'll maintain, Benson will maintain possession.
Wow, what a hit by Brown. Man, on a night like tonight, that probably feels worse than it would if it was first game of the season.
No kidding.
So, long yardage now for the Bunnies. Short pass, caught by Estwick. Man, that was catch, ankle high, and he's finally wrestled down. But he's well short of any thoughts of a first down. But I'm surprised Russell even completed that pass.
Yeah, Russell just trying to throw it just to get rid of it, really. And then Estwick made a great shoestring catch, able to turn it upfield and turn a negative into a positive.
So the Bunnies trying to recoup from that errant pitch. Sideline was their friend on that play because the Packers did get on the ball. It's just that it was out of bounds when they did. And now we've got a timeout called by Russell. So the Bunnies are going to take a break and kind of talk things over here. And they trail the Packers by a score of 7-0. Again, the Packers scored with 3:18 to go in the opening period after they recovered an errant snap on a punt attempt by the Bunnies and got the ball with a first and goal inside the Bunnies 5. 2 plays later, T.J. Douglas ran it in for the score.
You know, Tori, I'm looking at some of the notes we have here. The defense at Benson, 6 sophomore starters. Tells you how young Lonnie's team is, and got to be very optimistic about the future too when you've got those 6 starters that are sophomores.
Well, you'd like to think that, you know, they're getting game experience,
right.
And we all know there's a difference between practice and games at any level. But at this league, and one of the coaches made this comment, Rich, that this is a senior football league. And when you're playing with sophomores, you're right, it does make a big difference.
And they have to grow up quickly when they're sophomores, and unfortunately, sometimes part of the maturation process is winning and losing, obviously.
Well, we're waiting for time to be called back in after the Bunnies decided to discuss some things. And you see Matt Russell under center. Love to use that motion.
You need about 15 here.
Straight drop. Screen pass this side. Estwick. It's not going to get it. Nice pursuit by the Packers. A lot of times a play like that will cause havoc for a defense, but they were able to follow it.
Barrientos in on the stop there. Nice job. They set up the screen on 3rd down and long. Typical call on 3rd and long, the screen. And Barrientos doing a nice job pulling down Estwick.
Barrientos described as one of a throwback to a traditional South High football player where he just shows up ready to play every game and gives 100% and hits hard. And we've already called his number a couple times already early in this game. So it goes over on downs. Douglas going to keep it on the ground. Cliff Moss getting most of the work tonight, although Kyle Lohr has had a couple of carries. And then we see a Packer down on the field, and that is Joe Zubrod.
Looks like he's favoring his left ankle, Tori.
You know, and I wonder, I made mention of this earlier, but I wonder if on a night like tonight, because of the wind and it's so cold, if the hits, I mean, we've both been there, maybe not at a major level, but we've played in weather like this. And boy, you just seem to feel it more on a night like tonight.
Oh, yeah, you do. You're talking about Cliff Moss and all the action. They list him at 5'8", 165, so we know he's probably not that big. It's a young man, takes a lot of hits running in between the tackles, and showed a lot of toughness thus far.
Well, he came into this game with 5 touchdowns scored, and he's averaging just over 93 yards a game, which maybe in some high school circles people are like, so what? You know, because you look at schools like Massillon, Ohio, and they're averaging 250 yards on one player a game. But I'll tell you, in the Metro Conference, especially in a team that's had struggled the last few years getting numbers of players out and getting some kind of consistency, I'd take a kid that could run 93 yards a game, plus the way he's shown he can run tonight. I mean, there's no question.
Zubrod being helped off the field, favoring his left ankle, looks like. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, he was pounding the ground. We had that great close-up of him pounding the ground. Not only in pain, but I think in frustration and anger that, you know, no player likes to get hurt because the thoughts that go through your head. Zubrod's a senior as well, so this is his last go-around at the high school level. Moss follows good blocking and continues just to move the ball forward for the Packers. And I guess as a coach, that's all you ask for. Just get positive yardage each play.
Tackle made there by Marcus Sullivan. Once again, though, Moss doing a fine job, as Tori said, following his blockers and picking up positive yardage. Off the handoff again here from Douglas. Good block there by number 41, that's Kyle Lohr, to help seal his man, open up the hole, and they pick up the first down.
One thing you're going to notice in this game, you're going to hear names being called on both sides of the ball. As Moss does a good job to find space. He wanted to go inside. It wasn't there, and he kicked it outside. And you made mention of this once before, that, this kid's got some great field away. He's got great field vision.
Yeah, he does. He does. He seems to know exactly where to go. Has a good feel for the holes and where they are. And once again, look at him kick outside there. Nothing up the middle and able to kick outside and pick up some yards. Sullivan once again on the tackle, and he is one of those sophomore starters for Lonnie Tapp.
There are some of the brave, loyal fans of South, as we said, bundled up here at Berquist Stadium. They bring a blitz, and they run away from it again, and it's Moss. Man, look at him drag those tacklers, just going downfield as he continues to get that yardage. So the Packers once again on the move here.
Moss has been the man they've gone to most of the night, and once again off the handoff. Good job, nice piece of blocking once again by the Packers, creating enough of a hole for Moss that he's able to use his natural ability and pick up the big yards.
Yeah, on that replay, I just noticed Brian Locke throwing a block from his tight end position, but now the Bunnies have a man down, and that would be Dante Rice.
Rice, a defensive tackle at 6 foot, 295, a junior, big man. He'll be back next year for Lonnie Tapp.
You know, you made a good point earlier, too, about when we talked about the 6 sophomores starting on defense. If things go according to plan in 2 years, you know what the Bunnies are going to be like.
That's right.
But right now, that young defense is in a position where they have to stop the Packers, who are moving again. They were able to do it on the initial drive of this game, but they got stuck with a first and goal situation inside the 5 after the Packers got that bad snap on a Benson punt attempt. Quick opener off the right side, off the option. But the Packers, again, able to get a couple yards.
That South offensive line led by John Brown, the senior guard. Number 55 looking to pull there. Nice block by Brown, too.
Man.
Nice job.
Excellent trap play.
It was.
Oh, man.
Well, he really got out of his down position awfully fast, too.
I mean, that was a textbook pull. Any coach, we could use that. We should send that to some major colleges in the NFL. It's a scout film. Oh, look at this. Moss again follows his blocks, gets outside, comes right at you as our sideline camera is there to pick up all the action here at Cox TV. This kid can just flat out run the ball, Rich.
Once again, it was Brown helping out with a big block there on one of the Benson linebackers, number 55. Very impressive down lineman and a fine linebacker as well. Coming up, there he is, makes another block. And Moss doing his thing before he's run out of bounds.
So the Packers kind of have the Bunnies defense on their heels again. Inside around to Moss. And this time he's wrapped up and he's pulled to the ground.
Andrew Williams, number 72, saying, hey, enough of this stuff. Let's let's hold on a little bit. Williams 6'1", 210, defensive end for Lonnie Tapp.
Coming in with the play for the Packers, Matt Parrott.
There you see him, 72. That's Williams.
And then, just for good measure, Big Ben Lindstadt falls on top of Moss after the tackle.
He's feeling every bit of that, too.
Douglas, late pitch. Lohr cuts it up. Ball's loose. There's a scramble. And the Bunnies get it. Incredible turn of events for the Packers, just executing so well during this drive. And on the late pitch on the right side to Locke, the ball comes loose, and it goes back to the green and white.
Nice job by the Benson defense there. Lonnie Tapp says, as you see the pitch here, the hit, nice wrap up in the hit there. I believe, I'm not sure who exactly caused the fumble. I want to say that it was Stephen Davis, but it looked like Knutson and Davis teamed up to produce the fumble, and Benson takes over. But, Lonnie said they've been put into a lot of tough situations this year, and on this occasion, they're able to turn it back.
And that's what he said. He said the defense, if given a chance, an honest chance, they can usually get the job done. Okay, off the option again. But this time the Packers are ready for it, and they pile everything up in the middle, and they drop the bunnies down. That was Estwick on the carry.
Well, I tell you, Jay Ball's got to be a little disappointed. That was a good-looking drive by the Packers. Looked like they had the opportunity to go up 14-0 here in the first half, and the turnover takes care of that.
See Estwick getting spun around. T.J. Douglas, one of the tacklers for the Packers. But it still has to be tough to be playing quarterback and also be in the secondary. I know we're talking high school, but
Right.
Still, Rich, there's a lot going on there.
A lot of assignments on both sides of the football.
Split the backs again. Russell off the rollout. He's looking to throw. Now he decides he's going to keep it and heads downfield. Slips by a tackler. Finally driven out of bounds in front of the south bench, but what a nice job is Tyler Bathen is a Packer to finally get him. What an incredible run, though, by Russell.
Nice move by Russell. Made a nice move once he gets in the open field. Looks like he wants to throw and then decides, I'm just going to keep this thing. Picks up a couple of blocks. And the nice move there. Sidesteps a tackler, moves upfield, picks up another 10, 15 yards before he's run out of bounds by Chris Maddox, the Rover.
Yeah, that move was kind of like, excuse me, son, I have places to go.
Get out of my way. I'm going to pick up about another 10, 12 yards.
First down. We're going to flank her to the side. They'll send D'Angelo Allen in motion the other way now. Pitch on a lead play to Estwick. Carter with a block, but he couldn't hold it long enough, and the tackle is made there on the far side. I see Bathen is one of the tackles, as well as T.J. Douglas.
Yeah, Douglas very active coming up from the secondary, as Bathen did as well. Bathen listed at 5'6", 140. Don't have a whole lot of size there, but kids that play awfully hard.
And both these teams do. Both coaches said both squads put forth an effort. They don't fault the kids' effort. It's just that execution and consistency. And when you're dealing with 14 and 15-year-olds, that's part of the challenge as a coach. Slot man goes in motion toward the line of scrimmage. They're going to keep it on the ground. Russell calls his own number. Comes around in. Kind of looked a little lost on that play, Rich. I don't know if that was a busted play or if he didn't have his blockers where he thought they would be.
Yeah, it looked like it was at the start as though it wanted to go outside, but then he turned it upfield. So short gain there as the play is brought in by Sullivan. And we'll see it one more time. Looks like he wants to get outside, but then decides to turn it upfield. Douglas in there to help make the stop.
So the Bunnies will bring the ball, come to the ball one more time. They'll do the slot formation to this side. They split the backs again. Russell with a rollout, and he is going to throw this time. Almost intercepted. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm Chris Maddox, I'm thinking, let me have that play back again.
Yeah, Sullivan, the pass intended for Sullivan, the guy that brought in the play to Russell, and on the rollout, he's trying to hit Sullivan, but Maddox there instead, and Benson will have to give up the football.
Well, this is a scary situation for the Bunnies because the last time they lined up in punt formation, it cost them basically a touchdown, but that snap's good. Into the wind. Not a bad kick. Taken on a run by Kyle Lohr, I'm sorry. And Lohr hit after he gets a couple of yards.
Packers have done a nice job offensively, Torrey. First time they had the ball, they drove it deep into Benson territory, turned it over on a second down interception on a pass thrown by Douglas. They were able to score on a short field whenever the ball was snapped over the head of the punter, Knutson. They scored from on a 4-yard drive. But then the last time they had the ball, they drove the ball deep into Benson territory, but another turnover. So they've had two turnovers here in the first half, the interception and then the fumble.
So T.J. Douglas will go to work as we see Bathen split out to this side.
But the point I'm trying to make is that the South High offensive line is dominating things. They're able to run the ball very well right now.
And there's Moss again, a familiar sight tonight. Jermaine Hanks, by the way, was in the backfield with Moss. Hanks had an 85-yard touchdown run last week for the Packers, and we haven't seen much of him. But of course, with Moss and Lohr, I guess those are your workhorses. So Douglas gets the play from the sideline, brought in by Matt Parrott. There you see Hanks, number 4. John Brown lining up on guard. Man, I wouldn't want to be opposite him.
No,
this guy can play some football.
He can.
Parrott in motion to the far side. Douglas We're going to see a tight end around. It's Locke. And there's a flag as you see the play on the far side, but a tight end around.
It's running from the old playbook there. You don't see that too often, Tori.
Wow.
Took a while to develop as well, but
Yeah, those are from the Ernie Stotner
no
days.
kidding. Ernie Stotner, that's right.
And it's going to cost the Packers.
The tight end around. Been a long time since you've seen plays like this, but Locke has some talent, and Jay wants to use him and picks up some yards, but it's coming back.
Hold on the Packers on that far side. We're at Berquist Stadium, and you're watching high school football on Cox TV, Channel 2, or maybe Entertainment on Demand, depending on what night you're watching it. But he's Rich Roberts. I'm Tori Pantelian. We're glad to bring you all the action here from the Metro Conference. Next week, it'll be Lancer Hockey. And then Wednesday, the last Wednesday in October, we'll be out at Westside High School as Prep entertains Millard West. A little bit of a delay off the fake and drop for a loss. One of the few times Cliff Moss didn't chew up some yardage.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, Tori, the fact that he's been so successful running the ball here in the first half, and that was off that delay, the draw. Benson able to sniff it out and drop him for a loss. Good job by the Bunnies there.
You know, thinking 2 weeks down the road, that Millard West Prep game, you think that'll be a good game?
Yeah, it could be. It might be. Yeah.
Douglas drops back, setting up for a screen. Comes this way to Moss. He has some blockers. Cuts to the outside, slips by yet another tackler. Here he comes. And finally, Estwick brings him down from behind and out on the lead block. John Brown all the way downfield.
Yeah. We've been very impressed with what he has done tonight, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but also defensively as well. Moss with a big pickup there off the screen. Long yardage situation, a screen, a draw, that's always a good play to run, or typically it's a good play to run. Here Moss, he points out some blocks that need to be thrown and then picks up a big gain of about 38 yards. But I think it's coming back.
Yeah, and there you see the young man who just put forth that effort. That was great execution.
It really was. Deep drop, too, on the screen.
Yeah, and that's kind of dangerous at any level, I think, that deep, because then the play takes a little while to develop, and maybe the defense can snuff it out. But they had that wall of blockers.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a block, looks like a penalty here, Tori, obviously after or during the run, so they'll get some gain out of the play.
Yeah, it looks like a hold. Wow. Or maybe a legal block from behind. Yeah, when if referee extends his arm like that, I guess that's what that is. So I just noticed, too, the Packers, they've gone away from the traditional white helmet with the steer head, and they've got that S on their helmet. Kind of looks like a Stanford S
Yeah,
to me.
it does. You know? That's right.
All red, though. And that's definitely Packerland. Well, we've got a timeout on the field, and you see the score there. South leading Benson 7-0. And I agree with both coaches, Rich. I mean, this might not be an exciting game, but we've seen some effort on both sides of the ball, and unfortunately penalties and or miscues have changed the flow. But otherwise, the kids have really played hard tonight.
Yeah, they have. Individually, we've been impressed. We've called some people like Brown and Moss quite a bit. Douglas, Russell from Benson, obviously being the quarterback, calling his name out a lot. Estwick, and some kids that have just played awfully hard. And thus far, putting up some impressive efforts as well, impressive numbers.
Want to remind you that you can catch Rich Roberts as host of the award-winning After the Bell series on Cox TV. And again, I know I beat the drum, but I congratulate Rich for being associated with an award-winning show. But Rich is always quick to say, producer Greg Gepforth is the one who drives the show.
He does.
But you're the one that people see, and you need to have your congratulations as well. But you can catch that on Cox TV, so make sure you check your listings for that. Here's Hanks. Cuts to the outside, finally caught from behind by Marcus Sullivan. Pair of fours going at it, little speed against a little speed, and this time the defense had the angle and was able to stop Hanks before he got it going in full gear.
Yeah, after that long run on the screen by Moss, he needed a break, so they brought Hanks in, and he gets the call and able to get outside. Another nice block there by Barrientos. Good job by Philip Barrientos staying with his guy and sealing his man and able to help create the opportunity for Hanks to get outside and get some yards.
Second down. Packers again moving the ball on that defense. Oh, what a hole on the right side. And the guy that you just called for making the block takes the ball and goes downfield.
That's Berquist once again. He gets rewarded for the nice block, picks up about 10, 12 yards or so, and the Packers have a first down.
Berquist is a senior, 5'9" at 195. Or check that, he's a junior, so J Ball will have him back again.
Yeah, he's impressive. Another one of those guys who were calling a lot tonight.
And he hit the hole quick.
Very quick, yep. Coming out of his up position there.
First down, off the left side this time. And the red jerseys keep pushing forward. Out on the block there for the Packers, I see Frank Rosmus, along with John Rosen. These two big guys making some room for the running backs.
Once again, the Packers on the move and have the opportunity to extend that lead. And on a night like tonight, 14-0's got to seem like 21 or 28-0.
Well, Matt Parrott now comes in with the play. Douglas will bring him up. Quick snap. And they keep it off this side. Trying to keep the safe play going with Moss back into the lineup. And I would imagine a night like tonight, just because it is so cold with the wind chill factor, that it gets a little slick. The ball gets a little slick. We hear that so often, but it's true. I mean, you're dealing with leather and skin and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Of course, I know you never dropped a pass in your career.
No
you
way.
were there all the time.
Always.
That's right. You taught Lynn Swan everything he knows. straight ahead, didn't get too far, but they got a whistle and offside against the Bunnies.
You know, Tori, it's funny you mentioned about the hands and the slickness of the ball. I was watching the kids in pregame, and they were having a difficulty just catching the ball.
So you do your scouting reports.
Yeah, every once in a while.
You watch what you're doing. Well, the Bunnies now, they've been in this situation a couple of times tonight. And when the Packers have had to go a long field, they've been able to get a lot of yardage, and then something happens near the end of the drive. We'll see what happens here. 7-0 lead. Off the option, Douglas keeps it, cuts it up, outside tackle. And a bunch of white jerseys there to slam him to the turf. One of the first Bunnies to get to him was Big Ben Lindstad. We've called his name already tonight. And the Packers want a timeout.
Well, they want to be careful here as we have the Packers deep inside Bunny territory once again. Douglas on the keeper, turns it upfield this time. Knutson there. Helped out with his teammates as well. And the Packers driving deep inside. They have it inside the 10-yard line, so they have the opportunity here again to go up 14-0. Now, they've turned the ball over twice already, Tori, and they just would obviously prefer not to do that again this time. Want to punch it in and take that 14-0 lead with them into the locker room at half.
But, you know, and you made this point earlier, that the way the game has gone tonight and with the weather, a touchdown here, like you said, could be like 28, 35-0 at this point.
Right. Yeah, with the conditions and the weather and having to go into that wind at least one quarter in the second half.
Well, after the timeout, now they're going to line it up. Going to flank it to the right side. Off the option, down the line, giving it to the first back through, and no go for Cliff Moss, maybe a yard. So the Bunnies defense able to dig in here on this particular play. 7-0 our score here in the second period.
Well, that offensive line has done a great job tonight here in the first half for the South High Packers, guys like John Rawson. We've told you about John Brown. He's been there as well doing things. So they've done a fine job creating holes. And you know what? And I've been impressed with the other skill position players and the way they've been able to block and seal off their guys as well. Guys like Locke and Lohr, and able to Berquist making fine blocks. Just creating enough of a seam, enough of a hole for Moss or Hanks or whoever has a football to get through.
Yeah, and obviously if you're going to run an option offense, your skill players do have to block.
Right.
They have to know how to block and execute it. So your offense can continue to move. And there we see some more of the brain trust on the south sideline trying to get things set up.
That's one thing they always said about Nebraska was how well the receivers blocked.
Yeah,
Ron Brown did a great job teaching those guys how to block, especially downfield.
And those are big blocks, downfield blocks. They can make a big difference in a game. See the Bunnies shift their defense. They've got that base 50. Douglas, pitch this way to Moss. He does turn it up, but finally hammered to the ground. Nice play. That was Michael Knutson.
Yep. Knutson in on the tackle for the second consecutive time, and Knutson, the punter, as well. We'll see him here on the replay.
Look at that defensive line.
Yeah,
shifting.
moving around, yep. There's Knutson. Yes, sir. Good job. Nice tackle.
So the Packers hoping that things will go their way, and the referees want to check this out and see if it's a first down. Calling for the chains.
Another big weekend of football, Tori. Huskers take on Baylor on Saturday. UNO has Augustana, I believe.
Yeah, and that traditionally has been a tough game. Mavericks can't even the Vikings are a tough ball club. But, I'm interested in what's going to happen in Lincoln after what happened last week. I mean, I think there's a lot of motion going to be on that field Saturday. So, and the fans, too, especially.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Huskers' pride obviously wounded after their loss down at Lubbock last weekend. And they have a chance here to get healthy, at least for one Saturday when they take on Baylor, a program that at one time wasn't all that bad in the Southwest Conference. They produced some people like Neil Jeffries and went to some bowl games, but boy,
Sure.
they've been on the downslide for a long time.
Well, the thing about Baylor is we know it's a private school,
Mhm.
and it's not cheap to go to Baylor.
Nope.
So you don't necessarily get the guys that would necessarily go there to play football. Douglas, mishandle on the snap. The Bunnies say they recovered a fumble. Let's see what the officials say. This is going to be incredible if, in fact, it is a fumble recovered by the Bunnies. Now, I guess, let's see. Because Douglas just seemed to collapse after the snap. And there you see the South players pleading their case. No, it's down. It's down. It's on the ground. Nope, the officials are going to signal it belongs to Benson. So again, Rich, the Packers, after a really impressive drive, give the ball up.
An opportunity to really take command of this football game. Watch it again. The snap there. Do you see the fumble right off the snap? It looked maybe that perhaps Douglas wasn't ready for the snap, but lost control of it right off the snap, turned it over. Third turnover, which all three have come deep inside Benson territory here in the first half.
That's right, because he threw the one pick early on that Matt Russell intercepted for the very first turnover of the game. Well, the Bunnies have to get out of a hole, but I guess you'd rather have the ball here than have your opponent have the ball here. And there you see Russell doing a good job, call his own number. Packers trying to tackle the ball, but Russell able to hold on, and he spun down.
Well, they're moving the ball awfully well in between the 20s, but inside the red zone, the critical turnovers for the Packers.
Wow. What do you think's going through Jay Ball's head right now?
The good and bad, right? Just the good and bad.
There you get a look at some of the things that are coming up on Cox TV. As we mentioned, next week will be Lancer Hockey. It'll be available exclusively on Entertainment on Demand. And then next Sunday on October 24th at 6, more community programming. Well, we've run out of time here at Berquist Stadium, and it's been a doozy. The Packers lead the Bunnies 7-0. Stay tuned, because Rich and I will be back for the second half. You're watching high school football on Cox TV.
What makes a good neighborhood? It's not the location. It's not the houses. It's the people who make neighborhoods what they are. I'm Jeff Lewis. Join us for In Your Neighborhood at 5:30 p.m. on Cox TV Channel 2. Come meet your neighbors who make a difference and examine the issues that affect our community and our quality of life. See what's going on in your neighborhood.
Back for the start of the second half, and there you see the score. Packers with that early score in the first period on a T.J. Douglas 2-yard run after they get the ball on an errant Benson snap on a punt attempt. But the Bunnies will have the ball to start this period. On a full-speed return, finally hit down on the far side. And that's, let's see. First I thought it was Estwick. It is.
Well, statistically, the first half owned by South High School. Moss over 100 yards unofficially, according to my numbers. And yet, however, Benson, despite being dominated at the line of scrimmage on both sides, down just 7-0. Of course, turnovers, the key here, because South had the 3 turnovers inside, deep inside Benson territory, or else this game could be out of hand at this time.
Matt Russell on the first play of the second half, hands it off, and as usual, as we've seen all game long, both teams able to run the ball forward, and that's Tyrell Carter.
Tough inside running for Carter there, picking up big yardage before he's finally dragged down. We'll take another look at it. The Bunnies coming off the ball well here defensively. Good double team block there. And the tackle made by Jason Roddy.
Yeah, it's big Nate
Roddy,
Dudley, the center for the Bunnies, along with Andrew Williams, helped leading the blocks there. Bunnies again keep the ball on the ground. I've only seen a couple of passes tonight, and one of them has been picked off. Of course, the Bunnies are going into the wind here at Berquist Stadium. Is Estwick on the run?
You're right about the passing. I believe Russell threw the ball maybe 2-3 times in the first half, and Douglas a couple of times, and one of the times Douglas did throw, Russell picked it off and stopped the drive. That was the first time they had the football, drove the ball impressively downfield, but the turnover by the interception and when Russell was able to step in front of the Packer receiver.
Off the option on offense, Russell calls his own number and follows the lead block through. He gets a couple of yards. Here you see Andrew Williams again. I always like to see offensive linemen on the ground. It always bothers me that at the end of a running play, you see offensive linemen standing up and they're not engaged with anybody.
You feel they're not doing their job, right?
Well, sometimes I do. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if of course, I don't see the whole action of
Right.
the play. I'll see them standing around at the end of the play.
This comes from an old offensive guard.
Yeah, you go.
That's why you can say that.
Carter out of the eye, takes a handoff, and he goes to the far side. Yeah, you pretty boy receivers. You get
Yeah,
all
right.
the attention. Yeah, the defensive backs like you receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Carter, though, doing a good job himself. We talked about him before and how Jay Ball feels about this kid. Jay being the head coach at South, looking at his opponent, saying that Carter, kid can run over you, run through you, or run around you, and it's tough to stop.
3rd and short here for the Bunnies, Tori.
Now they go back to the eye. They've got a wing, actually, on the left side, and a wide out. Straight ahead. No, Russell kept it. I followed the fake, and Russell has it. And he's going to be thrown for a loss. Interesting call. With that less than a yard to go for the first down.
Yeah, I thought they were setting up to run the ball up the middle, and I went with the fake too, Tori. But Russell keeps it. Locked there to help bring him down. Good job by the Packers turning away the Bunnies here.
And that's what we talked about earlier, Rich, about on defense, when you're playing an option offense, stay with your assignment. Locke did. He followed the quarterback and made the play. Third period action here, Metro Conference High School Football on Cox TV Channel 2. He's Rich Roberts. I'm Tori Pantaleon. Glad you can be with us. Want to let you know our next football game will be in a couple of weeks on Wednesday, October 27th. It'll be Millard West playing Prep at Westside. They're going to play the game at Westside on that nice new turf. And there you see some other local programming. October 22nd, Lancer Hockey, available exclusively on EOD. And then Omaha by Design, the final report, next Sunday night at 6 o'clock, October 24th. Just some of the programming that's geared toward you, the Omaha area community, stuff that affects you.
Tori, you mentioned the West Side, the use of the West Side field for the Prep game coming up in a couple of weeks. That is really a gorgeous stadium. They've done a great job with Phelps Field over there.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. And of course, we had that great game between Prep and West Side earlier this year.
That's why I wonder how Tom Jaworski feels going back to Phelps
That's
Field. I mean, in a big game like it's going to be with Millard West, losing in overtime to to West Side at West Side's field. But it is a beautiful field, nice facility. Out of the eye again with a wing this side. Pitch. Carter slides up inside, gets a couple of yards. And John Brown again in on the play.
Yeah, he's a very impressive football player from on both sides, whether he's playing offensive guard or linebacker. He's very active and has a good speed for a lineman.
But the Bunnies keep the drive alive. They get the first down. Man, that offensive line looks pretty big from here.
Look at the center.
Yeah.
He's not a little guy, is he?
No.
Nate Dudley, 5'10", 280.
And there was movement on the line. I don't know if they're going to call the Packers for jumping because two defensive lineman did go toward the line, and it is going to go against South. So a nice cadence by Russell to draw the defensive line offside to give his team 5 more yards downfield. Yeah, Dudley is big anyway, but it doesn't hurt to be dressed in white. That kind of
Yeah.
there you see that jump on the snap on the cadence by Russell.
Doug Ignowski, one of the guys, number 70, coming across early. A little bit of contact there. You know, if you come across the line, you come back, you're all right.
Again, off the right side, it's Taylor with a lead block by Estwick. There you see Barrientos and Brown. Killer bees for the Packers.
Appropriate to say it at this time. Brown, 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's a senior. And I'm wondering if he's gaining any attention from some of the schools.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, if his play tonight is any indication of how he's played throughout the year, I would think that he is getting some attention.
I'm going to ask you this question late. Well, I guess they were coming at the line. I'm not sure what's going on. I'll ask it anyway. Speaking of killer bees, how do you like the baseball playoffs so far?
The Cardinals, very, very impressive. They just look they look to be the team that represent the National League, and you got to think the Yankees are going to come out of the AL as well.
Yeah, well-kept secret, the Cardinals. As Carter gets the ball off the left side, he's piled up. The thing about baseball, though, the Cardinals, I mean, all year long, especially in this part of the country, because we're not that far from St. Louis, you never heard anything about them. Best record in baseball. I think they got a steal when they got Jimmy Edmonds. I don't know how he ever got let go.
Another look at the play here. Lead block coming through the hole, but not much running room at all for Carter. A lot of red shirts around there, and that play did not pick up very many yards at all.
So they go back to work. They go back into the eye. Sometimes they'll split the back. D'Angelo Allen will go in motion on the far side. Off the option, Russell right through the hole. Big space. Finally brought down by from behind by Jason Rohde. Wow, who would ever think that you would get that kind of yardage on a quarterback keeper on the option? Russell doing an excellent job to find that hole and just zipped right through it.
They had about 6 guys on the defensive line and 8 guys or so in the box, and Russell able to squirt through and get deep into that secondary before Rohde's able to bring him down. Biggest penetration of the game for the Bunnies.
Well, this could be their drive. And they've kind of hinted that they could move the ball a lot, and this is their big one so far. Oh, bad pitch. Carter, can he get on it? Big pile up. And the ball does stay with Benson, but man, this is the second time we've seen a play like this go awry for the Bunnies. Last time, the fumble went out of bounds before the Packers could get to it.
Yeah, well, that time, though, he was hit and he fumbled. This one, just a bad pitch. The pitch up around his shoulder pads and behind him. That pitch needs to be in the waist high, and it was just a poor pitch.
And as we mentioned tonight, being as cold as it is, the ball feels slicker
little slick,
than usual. Well, they'll put a slot to the left, and they stay in the eye. See, Russell got the defense to jump a little bit again on that, but he gives it to Estwick off the left side, and there's no go. We got a penalty on the play as well. And we've got Estwick is going to be slow getting up off the field. That ball came loose?
Yeah, I believe so, Tori. Yep.
Going blind. Well, let's hope Estwick's okay. We'll get another look here.
Who made the hit? You saw the hit there by John Brown. 72, John Rosen in there, and then Brown comes in and makes it pop as well and forces the fumble, the turnover, and the Bunnies are turned away.
Man, I'll tell you, this has just been an incredible game as we get another look at some of the shows that are coming up. Lancer Hockey, again, available exclusively on Entertainment On Demand, Channel 998. But you can catch your Lancer action there, and important to a lot of people in the city, Omaha by Design, the final report. That'll be Sunday, October 24th at 6 p.m. All the local programming here on Cox TV. Well, another turnover changes the tide, as it were, in this ball game. Man.
Yeah, I guess if you count the bad snap, that's 5 turnovers, 2 for Benson and 3 for South. And South did take advantage of the 1 turnover, the bad snap, and turned it into a touchdown. But outside of that, that's the only scoring to date.
So T.J. Douglas, once again on the field, keeps it after the initial fake and cuts outside a right tackle for a couple yards. Well, I'll tell you what, the way this game's going with all this running, I don't know if we're going to set a record for the shortest high school game
Could be a quick
on
one.
record. Man.
That clock runs awfully fast whenever you're not throwing the football and having incomplete passes and getting out of bounds, too. Here, a lot of the running obviously going between the tackles. Here's Douglas picking up a few yards. Back to live action.
Lead play this side? No. The Bunnies decided who's the first guy to get to him. That looks like James Amons.
Mm-hmm. Andrew Williams there as well, number 72, the big guy.
He's done a lot of work today.
Yeah,
Williams.
he has.
He's been involved in a lot of plays.
Playing both sides of that, both interior lines.
Yeah, those are the guys that don't get a lot of attention, but they're in the trenches. So the Packers are going to have to regroup after that play. They'll send a man wide to the right. This time they split the backs. Misdirection, a little bit of a rollout. Douglas in trouble in the backfield. I think he's got a face mask. Got a handful of face mask. And that's going to cost the Bunnies.
I believe that Adam Sansucci was guilty of getting that face mask, of getting part of Douglas's face mask there. It came right up, I believe, comes right up the shoulder and able to, unfortunately, had his hand in there. We'll see it again. Here it is. Trying to make the tackle and just came right up the front of the jersey and
he knew it too, because you
did.
could see his reaction, and it's too bad because a great defensive play by the Bunnies goes to the side now because of that. But we've talked about this before. I mean, it's easy when you see it up here, go, how can you do that? But when you're down on the field, the speed, you're just reaching to stop somebody, and sometimes you get that face mask. Nice inside handoff. Look at Moss go. Just needs a little bit of a seam, and he's into the secondary. And the Packers continue to drive the ball with another first down.
Yeah, they've been riding Moss most of the evening offensively. He was unofficially over 100 yards in that first half, picking up more yards here on that play. But they've been using him a lot tonight. He's been their big gun offensively. Look at the running there. Between the tackles, gets that seam, as Torrey said, and able to turn it upfield and pick up the big yards. Keep on going upfield and get the yards.
Nice little inside counter. Here's a pitch off the option. Uh-oh, the ball's loose and the Bunnies have it. Oh, nice play by number 13, Matt Russell, who's the starting quarterback for the Bunnies. And yet another turnover. And, well, I guess that's one of the occupational hazards when you run the option, Rich, because the ball is moving around a lot.
Russell coming from his strong safety position to get yet another turnover there. Doing a good job defending his counterpart, Douglas. It's the second time he has a turnover. That Douglas has come up with a takeaway. Russell has come up with a takeaway. He had the interception, and now the fumble recovery.
So now we've got a stoppage of play on the field as we're in the third period here at Berquist Stadium, and this is high school football on Cox TV. You can get high school football 6 o'clock on Sunday night on Cox Channel 2, and then we move it over to the Channel 998, Entertainment on Demand. All you need to watch those games is be a Cox Digital TV subscriber. And you go to 998, look for local programming, go down to local sports, and you can watch the game as many times as you want for free. 4
turnovers now in this game for South High, 3 fumbles and the interception. Otherwise, South has really done a good job moving the football. They really have, moving between the 20s. Douglas doing a fine job running the option. Also, Moss doing a fine job running the football. Guys like Brown doing well, creating holes, but the Packers just shooting themselves in the foot when it comes time to try to punch it in. They've had 3 turnovers deep inside Benson territory.
Yeah, and to go back again to something that you mentioned in the first half, this game could be really out of whack on the scoreboard, but it's just 7-0.
Yeah, it could be 28-0 right now.
And I think
very well could be, yeah.
And I think that's something Jay Ball will obviously address next week in practice. Just got to take care of the ball. Benson works out of the eye this time. Lead play, I should say, to Carter. Carter will even run backwards if he has to. You saw it on that play. Barrientos in on the stop for South, but they continue to move. And I think the Bunnies have been hanging around. That had chance out of chance. They've got to convert one of these offensive
That's
opportunities.
right. Yeah, good point, Tori. They need to take advantage of it. They have a short field to work with here, and they need to take advantage of the turnover that's been given them and get back in this game. I mean, they're still in it, but to get it tied, they need to take advantage now.
Russell checks his defense. Sullivan in motion to the side. And they're going to keep it on the ground. Carter hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped. See, I see Barrientos. I'm going to see if I'm not sure, but I want to say John Brown was involved in that too.
Yeah, so did I, Tori.
Well, loyal South fans are sticking with
Amen.
their team.
That's right. They're here on a chilly night. Let's see if Brown was in on that stop. No, that's Barrientos there. Good tackle by Barrientos. T.J. Douglas as well, but Barrientos got him up about around the shoulder pads there, wrapped him up, and nice play.
Yeah, and I think that shows a player's upper body strength. You hit somebody up, stand them up, and just wrestle them down like that. Have a wing to the left, wide out also that side. Now they bring the wing in motion, still out of the eye. Short drop, slant pass, knocked in the air, and incomplete.
Well, I like that call, Tori. Run, then the slant.
Sure.
Surprise him with the slant. If the pass is down low, it's probably going to get caught. But I like the call by Lonnie Tapp.
Yeah, because the receiver had the man beat. He had it on the inside, and the pass just wasn't there. Thrown into the wind, but I also wonder, too, that if you run the ball so much in the option offense, which had been the knock for years against Nebraska quarterbacks, can you just throw the ball when you need to, and hit your receiver because you're not used to throwing?
Gosh, no kidding. When Oklahoma used to run option offense, you'd see their guy complete 3 passes for about 200 yards.
Oh, that's true, too.
They throw that bomb.
On the ground, straight ahead. And now the Packer players say they recovered a fumble. And they did! Oh, man! This game has just gone back and forth and back and forth. And look who gets up off the bottom of the pile. John Brown. Man, the Packers taking an opportunity here and to shut the Bunnies down and yet another turnover.
We talked that Benson needed to take advantage of it. Brown able to strip the ball loose. And I believe T.J. Douglas, the quarterback, was on it and recovered the fumble. So South High has now turned back Benson. Yet another turnover.
Douglas calls his own number off the option and quickly moves into the Bunny secondary where he's brought down. Man, this has just been an incredible game. It's been amazing.
A turnover-filled game. I believe that's 6 turnovers, 3 apiece for each team, or 6 or 7. But here's Douglas again on the option. He's run this pretty well tonight. He's able to find that seam, kind of like what Moss does too when he's running the football, and picks up big yardage on first down.
And to me, Rich, Douglas appears physically built to be an option quarterback,
he does.
if that makes any sense, you
Yeah.
know?
It does.
And there we come back to the play, and again, the Packers continuing to get positive yardage, this time to the far side of the field. Cliff Moss. I'd have this kid on my team.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
He does a good job running the football. He has nice speed.
Tyler Bathen brings in the play for Jay Ball. You see Jermaine Hankins also back into the lineup in the backfield for the Packers. As we mentioned before, he had an 85-yard touchdown run in the last game the Packers played. Off the option, Douglas looked like he had trouble handling a snap or something on that play, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. But in this situation, the way this game's going, or has gone, the Packers have the ball, they have the lead. So right now, that's a good situation for them.
That's right. Get some positive yards, keep on running that clock, and that all works in the favor of the Packers with that 7-0 lead here late in the third quarter.
Quick inside handoff. Moss again just flattened one tackler and was able to maintain some balance before being driven back. Seen some hard running tonight on both sides of the ball. Then, of course, Moss had that really fine run early in the first half, called back because of a penalty. That inside counter works pretty well for them. They're able to, on that first, the defense seems to bite on that first move, and then they have to come back against the grain. Four-man front. Douglas, single setback, and we have a whistle just at the snap. Let's see who was early or against the offense or defense. And it's going to go against the offense.
Yep.
So we'll move it back 5 yards, and they'll have to do it all over again. Packers with that 7-0 lead.
Well, Southside's been running the ball very well. You would think that at now might be a nice time to think about going to the air.
Oh, yeah, and they're with the wind.
Right,
The wind's at their back. As you get another look at our program notes here at Cox TV. Trying to cover a lot of areas here at Cox TV and hope that you enjoy the events that come your way. Lead play this side, Moss past the line of scrimmage, and he gets more yards, 3 or 4 yards on that play. Another show we want to remind you about is In Your Neighborhood, and that really brings it home to the Omaha area. We do stories about happenings that go on in local neighborhoods.
But Moss is going to be tired tomorrow morning, I got to think, Tori. They're really using him a lot, obviously. He's going to be sore of some of the shots he's taken today, too. And he's delivered some of his himself as well.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to have to tackle that kid.
Nope.
Show blitz. They send him. Short drop over the middle. Oh, what a laser. He's got it. It's Locke, the tight end. And now, was the ball loose? Did the ball come loose? They scrambled for it, and the Bunnies come away with it. Oh, what a fine play by the Packers, and then they give it up on yet another turnover.
Well, Tori, we just talked about perhaps now would be a good time for them to go to the air, and they did. Locke with the reception and rumbling downfield. We'll see it again, just the quick drop, and he finds Locke open. And as he's going down, he just lost possession of the football. And the Bunnies recover.
And what a pass by Douglas.
Yeah, zipped it in there, didn't he?
But all for naught. And that ends the third period of play here at Berquist Stadium. We finished the first 3 periods. Rich and I will be back for the final 12 minutes. Don't go anywhere. There's your score.
Each one of us can make a difference. Volunteerism builds and strengthens our communities by responding to the needs of others. Cox Communications salutes Mary McHale, our first Cox Community Champion. As the parent of a child with a disability, Mary decided to get involved with others who have children with special needs. Together, they advocate for those who aren't always able to speak up for themselves. Cox Community Champions is a national program recognizing our employee volunteers. Mary McHale exemplifies Cox Communications' commitment to our community.
Tori Pantalian and Rich Roberts bringing you this week's high school game between the Benson Bunnies and the South High Packers. And there you see the score. It's been like that since 3:18 left to go in the opening period. Since then, Rich and I have watched 2 teams move up and down the field, but then have miscues that give the ball back to their opponent, and that's where we are right now. First play of the 4th period. Bunnies have it. Russell keeps it. Finally brought down after slowed down in the backfield. And we've said this a couple times already, Rich, but I think we need to say it again. Benson has an opportunity to do something because they've stayed in the game. They need to do something positive here.
Oh, they really do, Tori, because they're still in this game because of the turnovers, obviously. You see Locke coming in there. Locke committed the turnover the last, which just gave the ball back to Benson. He had a long pass reception that he fumbled away at the end of the reception. But, yeah, they're in this game because they've been opportunistic as far as creating turnovers, creating the takeaways. Now they have to jump on that opportunity.
Take it out of the eye, but not before flags fly. And we got motion.
Well, Benson put in a new quarterback, Adam Sansucci, in there at quarterback now. They have the wind to their back. So with Sansucci in there, we'll see if they're looking to go to the air here.
And this is big, too, as you just mentioned. The wind at their back. They've got the final 12 minutes with an opportunity not to have to fight the wind. So Sansucci now getting to call the signals. Drops back to pass. Puts it up. He's got a man open, but, he has a man out there, not so much open, but then it's tipped up and knocked away. That was Marcus Sullivan. Robert, you're right on the money. You said Sansucci's in here. We might see a pass. I mean, it's like you've seen this game before.
Yeah, good guess. Good guess, Tori. That's all. Good guess. Figured they switch up quarterbacks and see what he could do going to the air. He had one-on-one coverage out there. He had but great coverage and the incompletion on the pass play.
So
But the coverage was good.
Yeah, it was. And the ball was, we saw it tipped up in the air. Sansucci again under center. Allen in motion. Wants to throw again. And, it's almost intercepted out there. They set up the screen pass the opposite way.
Looked like that was Stan Nixon getting his hands on it, the cornerback, a junior. That's a very dangerous pass. He's trying to set up that screen on the right side. He's rolling to the left side there and then throwing back across the grain. And that's a tough pass.
And it's a blind play because he has his back to the area he's going to throw, and then he just sets up and tries to pass. Punt again by the Bunnies. The first snap was not good. The last two have been well. He has the wind, and look at that thing roll. I don't know what happened there, but he pitches it to Moss. Well, that was scary. What was Lohr thinking? And I'm not surprised. I'm surprised they didn't call him down as well.
Yeah, it looked like, he's on the ground, throwing the ball up in the air. You would think that he would be down at that point because his body's on the ground. And unlike the NFL or in college and high school, we know if you go down on the ground with one knee, you're down. As we see another look at this punt. Now watch here. He's right there. He's down.
I'm thinking by contact too, because
Right.
it looked like his feet were touched. Well, they're going to give the ball to the Packers right there. So, but it's a long field for them now. Something they've been able to handle until they get down deep into Benson territory.
Yeah, the one saving grace for South is that their turnovers haven't occurred deep in their own territory. It's been deep in Benson territory.
And they run a slant play out of the backfield. And this is key now for the Bunnies. We're in the fourth quarter. They need to do something to get the ball back as Moss got the call.
Yeah, he's been the workhorse tonight, well over 100 yards tonight unofficially for Moss. He had that at halftime according to my numbers, and he continues to pile them on here. Again, a great job up front. Doug Ignowski, number 70, one of the guys for South. Frank Rosmus, another 162, doing a good job. Good block there.
Yeah, nice call by Douglas as he's able to find a little bit of a hole there and go forward. Well, that's one thing. Jay Ball does like his offensive line, although he'd like to see a little bit more consistency. Well, tonight they've been pretty consistent.
Yeah, they really have. They've really dominated the line of scrimmage for the bulk of this game, and if not for the turnovers, this thing would be out of hand.
Yeah.
Good block there by 62. That's Rosmus coming down, blocking big Andrew Williams, creating a little bit of a hole for TJ to turn it upfield and pick up some yards.
No, didn't you know all 62s block well?
I heard that, yes.
There's Moss doing a good job dragging tacklers with him. I got to stand up for my
That's right.
my fellow offensive linemen.
Tori's old number, 62, right?
Yeah. Pretty soon, that'll be my age. Help me. But Moss, again, doing a good – this kid can read blocks as well. And that's, at this age, that's great. If you can pick that habit up to read your blocks, because a lot of times we'll see guys, even at the NFL level, they won't read their blocks. They go on their own ability, and sometimes I think it costs them big plays. Split the backs this time instead of the eye. Handoff going the other way off a lead block, and Moss trying to get to the corner. Can't quite get there. I see Jordan Tolston in on the play with Williams as well for the Bunnies. Estwick also getting up off the bottom of the pile.
Time to start taking a look at that clock as it continues to roll, Tori, and South High just thinking, let's keep on running this clock. Keep it on the ground. There was a hold on this play, however.
Yeah, and that'll stop the clock. And that's, see if we can get a look at it here. John Brown also in the area on the block. But it'll cost the Packers some yards, and they're going to go back the other way. I think the penalty obviously is bad, especially where the field is. But the big thing is it stops the clock, and in this situation, you don't want to do that. Tyler Bathen coming back onto the field for the Packers.
Another kid whose name we've called a lot tonight, Bathen, on the defensive side. Just 5'6", 140. Plays awfully big, though, for a kid that size. He's played well.
Single setback. This is a different formation. They've got double wideouts with a slot to the left. Douglas wanting to pass. Outside, far side of the field, he makes the completion, but not for a lot of yards. That was Locke on the reception, and on the tackle for the Bunnies was Michael Knudsen.
I believe that's a second pass completion for TJ tonight. He had that big completion there at the end of the third quarter to Locke that turned into a fumble here once again on the drop. Just a safe pass, not very productive, just a safe pass there. Showing him something different.
Yeah, just kind of spread them out a little bit. Go back to that same formation with a slot to the left, single setback. And Douglas will drop. It's trying to look like he tried to set up a screen. It's incomplete on that far side. He was under pressure, though. His intended receiver was Cliff Moss. Multi-talented kid, Moss. If you run the way he runs, but if you can also catch the ball and run after the catch, you're a commodity. Somebody will like you for that.
Yeah, look at Marshall Falk. They love him, right?
Sure.
Great guy. The guy can catch and also run the football well.
Want to remind you, Lancer Hockey coming up on October 22nd. It'll be exclusively available on Entertainment on Demand, and we'll see what the final report for Omaha by Design has to say on Sunday, October 24th at 6 p.m. That's also will be on Cox TV Channel 2. Parrott laid onto the field as the Packers are in punt formation into the wind. Gets the kickoff. And they're going to let it die and roll. Russell wisely backing off, and it's finally down there, and that's where the Bunnies will go to work. And they don't know if this might be the last time they get the ball. They're going to have to do something. They've been able to stick around, but as Rich said, they were helped a lot by the South turnovers, and it's a 7-0 game. So Lonnie Tapp's crew is going to have to try to put something really substantial together on offense because they have a chance to at least tie the game and maybe send it into overtime, or if they get the ball back a second time, take the lead. You never know, but they've got to do something here.
And they have the ball on their own 42-yard line, I do believe, 42 or 43, so they're not asked to go the length of the field, obviously. They have a nice not short field, but.
No, but you're right, but with a back like Carter's, we see him run around the far side. He's shown that he can make the move and get upfield in a hurry.
It's good field position is what I'm trying to say, I guess starting on 42 and then a successful play there on first down.
Yeah, they get some blockers out there.
Yeah, here it is again, the pitch to Carter. Strips the tackle, then Locke able to bring him down.
Nice lead block by Tolston out there, Jordan Tolston, who's in the backfield now. They go back to the eye. Carter off the right side, spins loose. He's into the secondary. It's a foot race, and Bathen drags him down from behind, but not until he gets to the South 20. Now, this is exactly what we talked about. Now, this is the Bunnies have the opportunity here if they can keep this drive going, but they're still 20 yards away from pay dirt.
Yeah, we talked about their speed earlier. There you saw it as Carter able to get in the secondary, able to get past that first line of defense. Look at the nice spin move. Then he shows the speed, but Bathen able to pull him down. Huge tackle by Bathen.
And if you're South, even though you don't like giving up the big play on defense, you still have to feel good the fact that Benson needs a touchdown. They can't go for 3.
Right.
And we have a stoppage of play on the field, as I believe.
Next week, the Bunnies take on Millard West. We've talked about that earlier. The Cats, undefeated, having a great next for Benson. They're on the road. And then South High will play next Friday at Papillion La Vista South, taking on the Titans, and an opportunity with a win tonight to go to 500. And Jay would be awfully pleased with that. They'd be 4-4 going into the season finale.
Well, that's something that's big. And, again, we talked about it being district games. So that's huge. That's very, very huge. Again, want to remind you, next week we're doing Lancer Hockey, and then, of course, the Omaha by Design final report, October 24th at 6 p.m. Do want to remind you, a couple weeks from now, actually, it'll be the last Wednesday in October. Rich just talked about Millard West. Well, they'll be playing prep.
Well, that'll be a fun game.
Yeah,
that's going to be a fun game.
We're going to be there at Phelps Field at Westside on that nice new surface. And Normally, Prep will play their home games at UNO, but I think there was scheduling conflicts, so they'll be going at Phelps Field, which isn't a bad backup. Okay, here it goes to Carter, and he's met right after he gets the handoff, and that defensive swarm by the Packers. Barrientos, Brown. You
Douglas.
see him?
Yeah,
it's
Brown,
just,
Douglas. Yep, they're
all
both there. Yep. Very active defensively are those players. For looking at a big hit by Brown. Yes, he was the first. And then some other guys there, Douglas and Barrientos as well, as Torrey said. But Brown's been awfully impressive tonight. He really has. He's played well, both offensively and defensively. Some big blocks on offense and some big hits, as you saw that one there on defense.
You know, and it's really easy for someone to play on a team that's winning and when things are going good, but when things aren't going so well,
good point.
You get kids like this that step up. It tells you a lot. Fake. Russell keeps it. Looking to go by the tacklers, and it finally brought down. Nice pursuit, though, by Douglas, who tackles his opposite number and quarterback.
Flag on the play, Torrey.
Ah.
Probably going to be against Benson. Looks like a hold.
Wow. And you saw the reaction by Stephen Davis when he got up. You could tell there was a penalty and it was going against the Bunnies.
A run all the way there. You saw the fake. He just turned it upfield. And once he got outside, I'm not sure if Davis committed the infraction, but the penalty is against Benson. They'll push him back a little bit more.
And this is the time. You don't want to see this kind of penalty anytime as a coach, but in this situation, I mean, you just had a big play. You got down to the 20-yard line. You're trying to punch it in, and now you're moving backwards. Well, they'll send that wide out to the far side, and they come back in the eye. They move around a lot. They'll split the backs. They'll go to eye. Like a lot of motion as well as we see here. Carter wants to throw. He does. He has a man out there, and he can't quite get to it. Man, that would have been huge. Marcus Sullivan was wide open, and he couldn't get the ball there.
That was Sansucci. He came in earlier on a series to play quarterback, and he came in to do nothing but throw the football. And once again, here off the halfback option, he steps up just about a yard or two too long, but he was wide open. If he's able to deliver the pass, it's 6.
Well, I think
good call.
Yeah, Packers dodged the bullet. I like that call. It was risky, but everything went right except the final result. So at least now it's got to have the Packers thinking defensively.
Right.
Well, that could have been a game changer. Still in the eye, but now they've got wideouts to the right side. Russell looking downfield. Is it intercepted? Picked off. Douglas, of all people, makes the interception. So both quarterbacks tonight have interceptions on defense.
Interceptions and fumble recoveries for both quarterbacks. T.J. Douglas able to get that one as Russell threw into heavy coverage there. And the Packers once again turn back the Bunnies. Another turnover tonight.
Well, we'll see what happened here.
A little too high for the intended receiver. Looked like that was Terrell Carter, the intended receiver, and the interception by Douglas.
Well, I'll tell you, there were a lot of red jerseys in the air too.
Sure was. Yep.
Well, now the Packers have to take care of the ball. They're deep in their own end, just outside the goal line.
And if you're Benson, you're thinking, Torrey, let's try to strip this ball.
Yeah.
Let's try to create another turnover.
Yeah, the clock definitely is not in Benson's favor right now, so they need to try to force a turnover. But, boy, what a play by T.J. Douglas. And the South fans obviously happy because right now their team's ahead. Not only are they ahead on the scoreboard, but the clock has become their friend. And, of course, they're going to take their time. They go wide to Moss. Look at him just slide by those would-be tacklers.
And we've seen him do that quite a few times tonight, Torrey. Once again, he did that, just sidestepped the guy, picked up another 10 or 12 yards because of the move. Really does have that great vision we talked about earlier, and does a great job when he gets outside.
You know, and a lot of players, they don't necessarily have that vision. As you see it here.
Russell helping out on the stop. South High can feel that time is on the Packers' side, and with the 7-0 lead, the Packers looking to get to 3-4 in the season.
Split the backs, double tight ends. Douglas calls his own number, weaves his way into the secondary, and keeps the ball in the hands of the Packers. And that looks like first down. And I'll tell you what, that's something else we had talked about. The fact that the Packers can keep the ball on the ground and moving on the ground, and they don't make the risky plays, although we saw a couple of bad pitches still. The pressure's now on the defense. They need to be able to stop them and get the ball back for the bunny offense.
And Benson out of timeouts, Torrey, unable to stop that clock, and the Packers can just continue to run the clock down here by running the football.
Actually, although it hasn't been an exciting game, it's been dramatic. I think despite the turnovers, though, we've seen great effort. It's been a fun game to watch.
I was just thinking about that, how the effort on both sides of the football. I don't think either coach can dispute that their kids haven't played hard tonight, because they have. Players on both sides have played awfully hard tonight.
And the conditions haven't been great with the wind and the chill. Again, Moss off the left side. Oh, man!
Whoa!
Well, I'll tell you what. We've said all these things about Cliff Moss, and yet there's something else to say after that play.
Able to lower his shoulder. Marcus Sullivan coming up to make the tackle, and he said, "Hello, Marcus." Here it is again with Moss. Picks up a big look at that. Just lowered his shoulder and said, "Yeah, this isn't going to be easy." Shades of Quincy Wilson last year for West Virginia, running over a Miami defensive back.
Yeah, but that's how John Henry Johnson would do it.
There you go. That's right.
Lead play this side. They're going to give Moss a break. They give it to Lohr, and Lohr comes this way. They've been working the left side play after play, and now they change it up and come this way. And I'll tell you what, the Packers have put themselves in a great situation, and it looks like they're just going to walk away from this thing with their third victory of the year.
Torrey, when you see a play like, as we see once again, Lohr picks up a nice block there by Locke, but when you see a player on your team lower his shoulder, and when he's carrying the football, and he puts a defensive guy in his keister, that really that adds a little emotion, a little adrenaline for your team.
And this is something you can build on, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no question. The South looks like, they look like they'll move on to 3-4, and it's a district win besides. And we've heard Rich a couple times tell us that they're taking on Popeye and La Vista South next week, which is a great opportunity for them to even their record. But again, want to remind you, there's a program note for Cox TV. Lancer Hockey coming up next week. And if you're a Cox digital cable subscriber, you'll be able to see it on Entertainment on Demand. And again, Douglas will call his own number on the replay. Then we see keep it on the ground, high percentage play, just hand it off.
That was Moss. He's nearing over 150 yards on the ground unofficially tonight.
He's been busy. And if you take away those couple of runs that he had that were negated by penalty, I think he's got 200 yards tonight.
He had not only the nice job running, but also had a nice reception as well. That went for about 35 yards.
So the Packers keep the drive alive. They've got the first down, and
the clock is running. And the clock is running.
Take a look at the people who are responsible for the broadcast. The executive producer, Brian Ortner. Brian keeping us in line and helping to line up all these shows that you see here on Cox TV. And Mike Kohler, of course, not only an executive producer, but the vice president in charge of public affairs. Dave Crandler, our director. Christine Martin, production coordinator. Joe keeps our equipment running. Joe Galizia, of course, a well-known name in the Omaha area. Mike Reif from Northwest Missouri. Paul Sasso. These are the guys that get you the shots that we get to see. Tony really does a good job for us. Everybody does. Paul Sasso, by the way, was called into action. You see Roger Harpster, a little big experience in this market. Jaime Rivera as well. Trey on camera. All these youngsters trying to learn to trade here. Roy Morris with us at Cox TV. Ricardo Hernandez. They make our job a lot easier. We say it every week. Josh McShannon, we say it every week, but Rich and I know that without those guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. Mike, also on camera, all those people.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, great job tonight. We really appreciate your support. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how some of the people on the production crew do what they do. Like Christine and Dave were out here at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I mean, they're going to be here well after you and I are
That's right.
gone. Hats off to those folks. Now I think we're going to see some kneel downs. And I don't care. Anybody who follows football, when you get to this situation, you think of Herman Edwards.
Sure you do. That's right. You think of that play back in, what was it, 80 or 81, something like that, when Pisarcik went to hand off. I think it was a Larry
Zonka,
yeah,
with
he was with the Giants
yeah.
at the time, and they ran into each other, and a fumble was created, and Herman Edwards picked it up, ran it, and turned defeat into victory.
Yeah, that great NFL footage, NFL films footage. But that happened before you even started shaving. I'm surprised you remember that.
No, I remember that. Yeah.
No, that's what started the kneel down.
That's right. And then also having the deep back
right
as a safety.
Well, procedure, something you don't want to see at this point. Somebody moved for the Packers, and Jay Ball's like, let's just get this over with. You want to get out of here, get on the bus, go home with a win. And I do feel bad for Lonnie Tapp's kids, though, and because they had a chance to win it, and opportunity after opportunity, and there's no way they come out to play football so they don't win a game.
Right.
You
know what? Their defense kept them in it because they played so well as far as creating turnovers is concerned. They gave up a lot of yards in between the 20s, but they were able to stay in it because they created the turnovers. They took advantage of that to stop the Packers, but they were just unable to capitalize to the fullest extent on those turnovers and turn the turnover into points.
Well, there's the kneel down again, and you can see the Packer players congratulating each other. And they played a good game. As Rich said, we've seen both teams work very hard on this ball game. The South bench, they have to feel happy, and of course they'll all get on the bus, go home with a W. Berquist, the city field. South doesn't have its own stadium, so they have to travel a little bit, not too far, but to get here. And now they can start thinking about be happy with this win, but as any coach will tell you, be happy, but we got our next game coming.
That's right. Savor it tonight, maybe tomorrow morning as well. Enjoy, watch game fields and enjoy. And that's it, Tori. Final score, South High beats Benson 7-0 here tonight at Berquist.
Okay, we talked about it all game long, but what do you think, Rich?
Well, I was very impressed with Moss. Cliff Moss ran awfully well for the Packers. Brown played very well. Barrientos, guys that really stepped up. We called their names a lot tonight. I was very impressed with their skills. T.J. Douglas as well on the other side. Matt Russell did some fine things, had a couple of takeaways defensively, but they just could not take advantage, the Bunnies, of the opportunities when they created the takeaway.
Right.
They just could not turn it into points, and that was the difference tonight.
Well, the Packers scored with 3:18 to go in the first period, and it lasted the entire game. It held up. There's your final score. For Rich Roberts, everybody on the Cox TV production crew, I'm Tori Pantelian. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you someplace where there's a ball game. Bye-bye, everybody.